Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. It's a beautiful day for a Pirate Broadcast. And I just want to welcome you. If you're in the room, let us know. Ask some questions. Let us know where you're living, where you're broadcasting from, where you're visiting from. And also, if you like and you find value in this broadcast, please like and share it. Maybe consider subscribing to the podcast or the YouTube channel, or connecting with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Twitter, wherever you like to hang out, whatever works for you. And I am happy to bring to you more interesting people doing interesting things today. And today we have Joey. Joey is in the room. He's going to be talking about a little bit about his experience, his growth. And just to let you go in, be easy, because this is the first time he's been on a podcast. And we're going to bring the light into the room and allow him to shine and make sure that we have an opportunity to hear his story. So Joey, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Russ. I am doing great, and I am honored to be on your podcast with over 200 guests that you've already had. It's an amazing opportunity, so I really appreciate it.
Well, it's funny because we connected through mutual friends, and it was one of those ideas that, I've seen you pop up in the feed, and now we're connected, and we're putting these things together in a Pirate Broadcast. Now you're officially a pirate. You're part of the community. So any of those 200 individuals that you'd like to connect with, reach out to them. It's an amazing community, a lot of great people involved. And if you're not connected to Joey, get connected. He's working hard in Texas. He's in the Houston metro area, and growing his network and building up his industry. So let's talk a little bit about where you are right now and what your focus is in what you're doing.
Sure. So right now I am with Texas Quality Assurance, and I am a quality management system sales guide. And this all happened. It's a great story, I believe. I got laid off when the oil prices went negative. It was a tricky situation. It was tough to be in, for sure. But so I was able to find Kyle Chambers through Texas Quality Assurance, and I really like the goals that he has, and it really fits the values that I'm trying to find in a job. I've kind of had some ups and downs with previous jobs, and not aligning my values and goals with the companies. And this is one that I really think is a great company, and we're doing great things to help small to medium to large businesses really get going and, standardize, improve, be more efficient, and, remove the bottom line, the waste from the bottom line. And I really like doing that. So we're helping small, family-owned businesses, as well as, other companies that are employing a lot of people. So it's a great situation right now for me.
So those that don't understand or haven't been in the business in quality assurance, what does that actually impact in the business, and what kind of systems and processes are you, because there's a lot of, ISO, standards, and there's, different standards in different industries. And for those that are not familiar with your industry, kind of explain in layman's terms what that actually translates to.
So what you're doing is you're putting these processes down on paper. It's very similar to personal growth, in the sense that you have an objective. You're trying to get somewhere. You have these processes, your goals written down. So you have goals, you have inputs, you have your outputs, and it's, okay, what do I need to do? And then it standardizes it, right? So then it's not this decision overload. You know what you need to do on a daily basis. So it's quality management, it's environmental management, it's health and safety management. So similar, like you said, ISO 9001, there's also API, Q1, Q2. So, it helps you so you can have standardized training. You know that your field personnel, your office personnel, they're trained and they are trained to what you have already established as the training requirements. It's customer satisfaction. It's making sure that your customers are satisfied and you're able to appropriately handle complaints when they do happen, whether it's, bad product, a bad service or whatever, that you know how to handle that and you can correct it and you have proof to your customer that, hey, look, mistakes do happen, but we have a process in place to address that, root cause analysis, see what's going on and fix it so we don't have to do that in the future.
Yeah. And I love the fact that you tied it in with personal growth, because ultimately, and I hope that you had a good experience getting on the Pirate Broadcast and, the systems and the notifications all worked out for you because you have to be here.
Yeah.
And so as someone that has had experience with that, and years ago, I used to be a safety director, and
nice.
root cause analysis and saying that and knowing what you can do to improve the safety and the process to train everybody. So what they know that you know that, and all of these things are in alignment with the company's goals and the industry's goals and the safety of the employee. And I think it's important for us to understand in our own personal lives, it's a constant cycle of improvement. So what are some of the
continuous improvement?
A continuous improvement, absolutely. So I know that having lost a few jobs in my career, it's like I worked for 25 years for companies that no longer exist. It's like this is a common occurrence for a lot of people right now. So having gone through that experience, what can you share with individuals that are listening in on the Pirate Broadcast about the process of the downturn and feeling of, I lost my job and bad things happened to me. And then I have to, I isolate, it's like, okay,
right.
I don't want to do anything. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to get out. I don't want to talk, and I don't know if that's your experience, but talk about that process for yourself and kind of reflect on the quality assurance that you went through in your own world in order to accomplish a different goal, a different outcome.
So I didn't see it when it was happening. And that's common in business as well. Sometimes when you're going through things as a business and personally, you don't really see things until you assess, AKA audit, right?
Yeah.
But inactivity was my biggest thing. I became inactive. So even before the downturn happened, I had some personal things that were going on. My mom was battling Alzheimer's for 6 years. And we lost her last April. So that was a big effect on me. And I didn't have the systems and I didn't have the processes built into myself to be able to handle that appropriately, right? So I, just like you said, I secluded myself, I isolated, I became inactive. And I didn't recognize it for a while.
Yeah.
But I ended up leaving a job because I became inactive in the job. I just felt stagnant. I felt in a rut. I had another job opportunity as a field service, oil field service company. And that was okay. And that helped me out. But when oil prices went negative, I got laid off. And so I had this, 3-month gap. And it was during that 3-month gap that I was able to kind of sit down and do that analysis. Okay, what's going on? Where am I?
Yeah.
Where do I want to be? Right. So that's your gap analysis in a company. Okay. You want to be ISO 9001 certified, but you have to know where you are to be able to know the route you need to get to where you're going. Right. And that's what happened with me. And you can see it all around. I mean, even the 12 steps, Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill Wilson, right? I mean, he has a quality management system it's for alcoholism, it's for alcoholics, but it can be applied to anything. It's a personal growth strategy.
Yeah.
And that's what the quality management system is. It's a business growth strategy.
It's really telling in our lives, unless you have a way to measure your progress, it's a big struggle to make progress, because it's like, what do I measure against? How do I know if I'm successful? How do I know that, what is success? How do I understand what that looks like? And I've had this on many other episodes where we've talked about the idea that, sometimes you think you want to be a certain place, you want to be a certain location. And it's when you get there and you realize, wow, this isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. And what do I do now? Because my dream turned into a nightmare because it's not anything like I imagined. And I think in a business situation, just like we've seen in a lot of industries this time, because of outside circumstances that we have no control over, businesses seem to think that they need to stay in a certain place, when in reality, resilience is the success factor. That's the thing that's going to allow us to adapt into different environments and different circumstances. And resiliency is really a key factor in this. And I think that's in personal life as well. So is that something that you've had experience with and the ability and opportunity to deal with?
That it's what I'm starting to see for sure, right?
Okay.
To coming out of this, and starting to make those steps, one after another, small steps. I almost thought before that I wouldn't be able to get to where I'm getting right now, because you just don't see that. So sometimes it's easy to not see that, right?
Yeah.
It's easy to think that you can't be resilient. You can't take the steps that you need to take. And so I'm beginning to see that it really is. It's resiliency. It's grit. It's saying, okay, I've got to just start doing something.
Yeah.
I've got to make these steps, and I got to keep going. I've done it in the past, and I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've seen that in business, and I've seen it in personal. In business right now, right? Businesses are struggling. Businesses are shutting down, and it's everybody is worried about finances. But right now, if you have a goal, whether it's personal or business, and it takes you 12 months, it's going to take you 12 months whenever you start.
Yeah.
If you start now, it's going to take you 12 months from now. If you start in 12 months, it's going to take you another 12 months to get to where you're going.
Yeah.
And so it's about starting that process as soon as you can.
Start the process. That's interesting, because I think right now a lot of, because of fear, because of you're anticipating sometimes you can see the glass half full and half empty, it depends on your perspective. And I think you're absolutely correct. It's like, just start and get moving forward. Even if you're moving in the wrong direction, you can make adjustments. You have the momentum to continue forward, and you might run into a situation where you say, this doesn't really feel like it's working out. And if you have momentum, at least you can move in another direction, and you can make those adjustments along the way. And I applaud you for reaching out, stepping outside your comfort zone, getting on the Pirate Broadcast, becoming a pirate, reaching out to a new audience, a new perspective. And I think that there's a lot of other people in the room, like Michael Evans. He says, hey, good morning, guys. How are you doing? Love that you're here. Pretty Gloria, nice, friendly hi to meet you. Hair, thanks. Jeff Young, a process approach is important in all things. Well said. I love that. Jeff is an amazing individual, superhero, one of those individuals that you need to connect with and become a resource with and follow some of the things. And then also, he says, a grief cycle is natural when you lose your job. The key to recognizing that and taking steps to get yourself out of that grief so you can get back in the game. Amen. Jeff Young, thank you so much for that. I really admire your work and effort. And it's one of those things, Joey, that we need to understand. It's like, quality assurance. It's like, okay, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to step back and understand that, okay, this life is never going to be the same. It's like your mother, she went through a battle of Alzheimer's, and, now she's no longer suffering, right?
Right. Absolutely.
You lost your job. You went through a period of probably a little bit of a downturn, like the oil industry. And then you have to recognize, okay, what am I going to do next? What do I have to do? And so did you map out your quality assurance list of things that you wanted to accomplish, or how did you battle that uphill climb?
I did mentally. I started journaling. That was one of the biggest things that's helped
Okay.
me. So what I used to use in my old company in sales was this sales journal. And what I realized is that you can have a personal journal as well, that
Yeah.
you have key points that you want to hit daily, monthly, quarterly. So that helped out quite a bit. But I did the quality assurance. I audited myself to see where I was at. And then I saw, okay, here's the areas that I'm struggling with. So what do I need to do? And
Yeah.
part of that for me, right, was reconnecting with the community. I'd kind of forgotten to do that. So
Yeah.
before I even got into the oil and gas, I was an EMT basic. So I rode on the ambulance here in Tomball,
Okay.
and it was such a great.
That's so funny. I was an EMT and a volunteer firefighter as well. So
Oh, nice, nice. But I had lost touch with that, right? So
yeah.
actually, I had a roommate. He was a great guy. Unfortunately, he's passed away since, but
Uh-huh.
he got me into the oil and gas. And so I don't want to say I sold out for the money, because the past
Uh-huh.
14 years of my life have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost touch with that, giving back to the community and kind of liking that whole, emergency response stuff. So
Yeah.
that's another thing that I'm not doing some of these things I know that I like to do. I was just focusing on my job and just kind of, stressing out over that. So now I'm getting back into that. So that's one of the things I'm doing now, actually, to get me to that point, because I'm still in this process. I'm just beginning this process and getting outside of my comfort zone and taking these steps. And so I'm doing my EMT basic course, which has been great. So there's a lot of volunteer firefighters with me in the class. And what I like about it is a lot of positive influence.
Yeah.
And that's
And I just want to take a moment and give a shout out to all the first responders and the healthcare workers and everybody that's involved in first responders and the whole chain of assistance in that arena. Because I mean, hats off, and it's not an easy task, and it takes a lot of passion and a lot of gratitude and caring and empathy to be in the industry. So I just want to recognize.
absolutely.
And thank you for getting back into it. That's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of people do this voluntarily. They're not
Yeah.
getting a paycheck to help out,
Yeah.
They're doing it just out of the kindness of their heart, and that makes it even more impressive.
Yeah. And
So
it's like the unsung heroes, the helpers, as Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers, right?
that's it.
And so you went through this process, and now you're kind of getting back in your vibe and reconnecting with what you really enjoy and love to do. And I think that's so important, because as we recognize who we truly are, what we do is not who we are. So I think that's important for us to understand and appreciate the difference, and spend some time working on both sides of that equation. We have to obviously do something to, keep the lights on and food in the fridge. And then we also need to feed our emotional fuel tank and, add things to the fire when we're, passionate about things. We're passionate about things we want to do and accomplish. And so what's your journey look like for that?
Well, my dad, he's always told me, son, you got to find your passion. You've got to find your passion. And I've struggled with that for so long, because I was just like, man, I cannot find my passion. I don't know what my passion is.
Yeah.
Then I heard somebody say it was sometimes you have to create your passion.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm doing right now. And you already alluded to it. Actually, you said it earlier, is that sometimes it's just getting that momentum. I don't know where my path is going to take me right now. I have some goals, but I'm just gaining this momentum, and I'm going to see where it takes me, because standing still isn't working for me and hasn't been working for me.
Yeah. It's funny because, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm sure you've seen that. He did an essay on one time that I just truly, truly enjoyed. And the whole premise of the story was that there's a lot of people that find their passion and they chase their passion, and it's find the work you love and you'll never work again. Right. And he goes, the other side of that is find work and then learn to love it. Find a way to learn what you're doing, and then you'll never have to work again either. And I thought that was so profound in respect, because there's so many industries. Oil and gas is one of them. I have friends in the oil and gas industry. They're all over, and they've traveled, they've had experiences, they're great storytellers, and I'm just thinking to myself, that's an experience of a lifetime that you can't achieve in any other way. And, there's probably other industries that might be similar or might provide the same experience. And if you learn to love what you're doing along the way, life is so much easier. It's like, oh, I hate my job. I hate my job. I hate my job. That's an unfortunate circumstance that a lot of people allow themselves to be placed in. And it's like, well, I don't have anything else I can do. Well, there's a lot of spare time. You can learn another skill. You can go to EMT class. You can, and that momentum, getting that momentum and moving forward helps out always. So,
right. Because who knows what some of the connections that I make during this, adventure will take me, right? I mean, I could end up becoming, connecting with somebody in this EMT course that says, hey, you know what? Based on what we've talked about, it seems like you actually might be a good fit for X, Y, and Z. Why don't you just give it a shot? I got this connection. And then now you're on a whole different path, but you're doing something and you're staying active. Your mind is staying active. You're right. But what you said is it's a great point. It's sometimes you can't necessarily find the job that you love. You have to find a way to love the job that you're doing.
Yeah.
It's two sides of the same coin. And
it's really a simple thing to say, not necessarily an easy thing to do.
Yeah, sure.
And for myself, it's perspective. It's like, how are you looking at it? It's like, if I wake up, it's like my day. I love getting up and doing the Pirate Broadcast because it sets the tone of my day. I get to talk to somebody interesting like yourself. And it's like, okay, I have it pretty good. I get to have these conversations. I get to open up the idea and make new connections online all over the world. I got friends all over the world that I can connect with. And what better opportunity can you do first thing in the morning than share a new perspective with somebody, and hopefully light somebody up and saying, hey, I can do this, or have them first time on a broadcast. It's like, that's an amazing thing for me. Now, it's not for everyone. Not everybody has any kind of a desire to get on a camera and look at, and broadcast, but it's like,
sure.
Hey, that's the thing, is if you have momentum and you're doing this, it's pretty simple. So,
right.
So what are some other observations that you've learned along this journey of self-discovery and, building up your own momentum?
I mean, you have to get outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You can't think that you can do it alone. And so you have to rely on a support group. And that's what I didn't do in the beginning. I lost connection, and that was the worst thing I could have done. So maintaining a connection with your network, whether it's family, it's friends, and it's professional acquaintances, those are the people that are going to keep you aligned. They're the ones that are going to tell you, hey, look, man, something's not right. Or, hey, man, you're doing a great job with this. Without having that, you just stay stagnant. And that's the biggest thing that that's one of the bigger things that I've learned recently, is that you've got to have that support system. So that's, and then what I said, getting outside of yourself, it's reconnecting with the community and whatnot. I think that's very important. It's expanding your network. It's going to community events. It's helping people out. It's reconnecting with your neighbors. That's been a big part of this for me. And it's helped me, because at the same time too, you sit on the couch for hours on end. You don't really feel good about that, but you go across the street because you see your neighbor needs a little bit of help with something. You go and help them. You come back after 2 hours of helping your neighbor, and the emotional benefit that you get from that, the physical benefit from it, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so it's, those are the things that I'm learning right now. It's that, you can't do this alone. You need a network, and that's neighbors, that's friends, that's family. And so that's my goal right now, is to start reconnecting with these folks. You said it on one of your podcasts. It was like, what you do is you have like 5 or 6 text messages that you just send out, not expecting any sort of response. You just say, hey, I'm going to reach out to somebody and just see how things are going. And that connected with me, and that's something that I'm going to start trying to do is, reconnecting in that sense, just reaching out. Hey man, how's it going? I hope everything's okay with you. I'm here if you need anything. Have a great day.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool what you said. So I'm going to take that to heart. And that's one of the things I'm going to implement.
Well, and somebody that's a great networker, Terry Bean, was on the show yesterday, and we were talking about that same thing. And it's the idea that you just have to be a method that people can connect with, and make it easy, and make it, remove the friction, so to speak. Anything we have in our life, just like the oil industry, anytime you have friction, you're losing money, right? So let's make it frictionless to actually make a connection, reconnect with other people, and remove some of those roadblocks and those obstacles. Because a lot of times it's just in our head. It's just our heads thinking, well, nobody wants, I don't want to, they don't want to talk to me, or, for whatever reason. It's like, just start reaching out to people and seeing what happens, because you're only one conversation away from making a difference in your life. And it really, making a difference in somebody else's life is typically the best way to build that momentum in your own life. And it's just amazing when people can do it and watch it and experience it. It just amazes me. And it's just, I'll continue to talk about it and tell people that it works and how it works. So,
but, and the same thing works with sales too. I mean, sometimes it's nerve-wracking reaching out to people, but at the same time too, like what I have to remind myself, and what I do remind myself, is that we're just one phone call away from potentially helping somebody expand their business significantly. If they can implement, one of these quality management or environment or whatever these management systems that they need to implement, and they're able to land a huge contract with a big client, I mean, that would be impressive. That would be so fantastic to be able to do. And it really is. It's a phone call away. So it's realizing some people might not want to talk to you, but there's going to be people that are going to want to talk to you. And you can make a difference in those people's lives, and they can do the same in yours.
Well, and it goes along the same lines. It's like, they may not need you now. However, if you stay in contact with them, when they do need you, or they realize the value that you bring to the table that can assist them in their pursuit of happiness, then all of a sudden you're the first person they talk to, because you've made those text messages. You've made that outreach,
great point.
and hi and checking in. And it's not to do it in a nefarious way. It's like, care about people, add value, continue to add value, show up in life, be available, remove the friction. And it's amazing to see what can take place. And it's like, and sales is just an example of what that looks like, and a lot of people resist sales, and myself included. It's like, okay, gotta make the calls. It's like, if you're always out there and you're having conversations, people will show up and say, I really need some help with this. There's some things that are broken in my business. It's like, Joey, you need to talk to Joey. It's like, he's somebody that can help you find, some quality assurance, build some systems, grow your business, and make a difference. Like, it's that simple. I don't know if he can help you. He might be able to help you, but talk to Joey, see if there's something he can do.
That's it. And what I've learned too is even if I'm not able to help with my experience in the quality management world the past 14 years, I'm probably going to be able to find somebody who'd be able to help or connect them with somebody.
Yeah. Offer them some recommendations and suggestions, and just put them in the right direction to allow them to build the momentum. Right.
That's it.
Well, this has been fantastic, Joey. So I really appreciate and thank you so much for becoming a pirate, because it actually means a lot to become a pirate. And it actually the community is solid, and there's a lot of people here that are doing some great work. So it's Arcot's here. We got some more people. Good evening, morning, all around the world. Sherry Lolly is here. Slap tags, great discussion, highlighting opportunities to collect the joy in your world. I love that. Let's see what else. Jeff says, haha, I'm only a superhero because of the super pirate friends I have. Namaste. So then good morning. Yeah, like a boss. Thank you so much for being here, Amanda. Appreciate you. Follow Amanda. She's awesome. And so Srathi, Joey, what's up from India? Hey. Always good. Always good. Good morning, pirates. Ange. Sherry Lolly, yeah. Sushi, thank you so much for being here. I love it. And then Amanda. So it's like showing up is a great point. I don't do any sales with my business right now, but at least once a week I have someone in my network connecting with me, with someone who needs me and my team. I do it all the time for people in my network, and it works. It works all the time. So Jesse says, great talk today. Thanks. You never know. Angie says, you never know what connections might bring. It's like absolutely true. So thank you so much, Joey, for being here. I really appreciate you and the opportunity to share your story, and good luck and congratulations on the EMT activities. Being a volunteer really helps in a lot of respects, helps the community and helps ourselves grow as individuals. And so I applaud that. Any last legacy thoughts or ideas that you want to leave with people to keep them motivated today?
Just take that next step and make sure it's not a big step. Just take the next step. That's the biggest advice I can give, and you're going to start making steps. So it's the first step. Just take it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, everyone. And as always, it's really important for us to think about what we can do, what we can contribute, how we can provide value, continue to provide value in the community. And thank you, everyone, because kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy the day. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.